Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a wonderful day. Now, I know I have a lot of information to cover, and it's going to be difficult to do so. No, I probably won't be doing a stream this time to cover it all. I'll just have to cover it all at some other point in time. But nonetheless, I'll try my best to get at least 2-3 videos out today, and then I'll try to get more out the next day, following some other stuff. I would like to do a podcast at some point as well, but that's either near or there. So, without further ado, we're gonna go with this that we've seen with Target. Pride Month backlash hurt Target sales. They fell for the first time in 6 years. We have this here. Target's quarterly sales fell the first time in 6 years as consumers pulled back on discretionary goods, and fierce right-wing backlash to Target's Pride Month collection took a toll on the brand. Yeah, because here's the thing. I don't think it's just right wing. See, this is the problem with CNN, is that anything that it goes against their narrative is apparently right wing. When majority of people have gone against Target, most people do not want to shop at Target, and so therefore Target sales fail. That's just kind of normal in this instance. I mean, if you really think that you want this to be a thing, to where you want to groom children, then please be the organization that does that and let everybody know. Target sales at stores open for at least 1 year dropped 5.4% last quarter, including a 10.5% drop online. The company also cut its annual sales forecast. Target's foot traffic dropped 4.8% last quarter, likely a function of a mix that skews to discretionary as well as the Pride merchandise issues. So, yeah. So, we're seeing this here. We have Pride Month backlash. We have this here that we're seeing. Target has been embroiled in the political culture wars over gender and sexual orientation. Beginning in May, Target has faced a homophobic campaign that went viral on social media over its annual Pride Month clothing collection. I like how you say it's homophobic. Here, last time I checked, the majority of Americans don't care if you're actually gay. That's the thing. What we do care, though, is you trying to force everything in everybody's faces. That's the one thing. And then producing products for children. Now, I don't know about you, but last time I checked, I think going after children is a big no-no. But of course, CNN endorses this type of stuff. They endorse, things to be put out to children. And also, by the way, leftists, please tell me on how they're not doing that, because I have actual evidence of them, giving out onesies that has tuck-ins for little boys. Now, last time I checked, that's what we call grooming or trying to indoctrinate. And if your so-called thing or your activism is so great and happy, again, tell us why you have to hide everything from parents. Because normally when things are good and helpful for children, you don't hide shit like that. Just a good little thought for you idiots. The campaign became hostile with violent threats levied against Target employees and instances of damaged products and displays in stores. Target said on May 24th that it was removing certain items that caused the most volatile reaction from opponents to protect its workers' safety. But Target's response frustrated supporters of gay and transgender rights, who said the company caved to bigoted pressure. The strong reaction to this year's Pride assortment impacted sales during the quarter. Of course, Sienna Hennington, Target's chief growth officer, said Wednesday. So we have that that's going on. We have Target sales over a past year. It's not doing too great. We do 6 months and it's still collapsing here. It's still doing bad. 1 month, it's, looks like it's going to be rising up, but still in the red. And then we have 5 days and it's, had a little bit of spike in August 15th as of yesterday. And then now it's just teetering to a middle. And then it's, in the green, but, it doesn't look too great here in the times of, essentially it takes them to get into almost over a year's time for them to even remotely reach green, and it's not even that great of a green, to be honest with you. We have this here as well from, a post-millennial. Target reports first sales slump in 6 years, slash projections amid negative reaction to Pride Month. We have the Target fell short of its quarterly sales expectations on Wednesday, cutting its full-year forecast. The company continues to have trouble convincing its shoppers to purchase more than the essentials. This comes after the company experienced intense backlash over its Pride Month gear for kids and tucking swimsuits for men. The big box store slashes full-year sales and profit expectations, according to CNBC. Even with the top economists throwing out concerns over a recession and federal data suggesting that inflation is cooling down, Target offered a more pessimistic outlook for the remainder of the year. The company predicts that there will be a mid-single-digit decline in comparable sales for the full fiscal year, and earnings per share to hover between $6 and $8. This runs counter to what is initially expected, which was low single-digit decline to a low single-digit increase, putting earnings per share between $7 and $8. However, CEO Brian Cornell said the company's sales and store traffic was better in July, but he suggested the companies might experience a slight decline as the school year comes around. Rising interest rates and elevated prices for basic items was also reported to be a contributor per report. As we look at the consumer landscape today, we recognize the consumer is still challenged by levels of inflation that they're seeing in food and beverage and household essentials. He said that's absorbing a much bigger portion of their budget. Target experienced massive sales during the COVID pandemic, but they have not been able to return those sales numbers since. Profits were affected by product markdowns and excess inventory. Much of the company's sales is dictated by impulse-driven items, which has become a liability for consumers. The average consumer, according to the report, is focused more on needs rather than wants, putting excess money back for vacations and concerts. The company's challenge to win over consumers during inflation has adversely affected its stock. CNBC reported that its shares had fallen 16% so far in 2023. Even as the S&P 500 had risen by 15%, its stock price reached a 52-week low of $124 on Tuesday, almost half of what it was during the pandemic. Target faced intense backlash in May and June over some of its Pride-themed attire, which resulted in a decline of sales. As a result, the company removed some of the items that were made available. However, Cornell said the company saw things normalize after the items were removed. He also mentioned that a driving force behind removing said items was due to threats against employees. The company will have products that celebrate Pride Month, which, is not going to do too great here. We have this from Benny Johnson. Target CEO Brian Cornell blames negative guest reaction to Pride collection, consisting of trans promoting baby clothes for plummeting sales. And we'll go over that very briefly here, but right now we're going to do this. We have, this is from Valuetainment. ESG goes undercover as companies drop the acronym but keep the same agenda. As nationwide pushback against environmental, social, and governance policies in the corporate world continues, financial insiders are beginning to move away from ESG branding, but the agenda behind it is still very much in place. According to a survey from Bloomberg, bankers and other members of the finance industry are continuing to implement the ESG strategy, even while recognizing that the acronym is becoming increasingly toxic for business. So, yeah, that's what's pretty much going on forward. And we need to be able to stop this in every way for as possible. Obviously, we don't support BlackRock because BlackRock is a garbage company, is an evil company in every way possible. So have you. Environmental, social, and governance policies stem from an investment strategy that prioritizes environmental causes, social justice issues, and governmental compliance. Backed by asset management groups like BlackRock, these policies became the driving force for left-wing agendas and corporate culture, which has now prompted an enormous cultural backlash. In recent weeks, S&P Global, one of the world's largest raters of corporate debt, announced it will no longer include corporate ESG scores in its debt ratings. Similarly, companies like McDonald's have begun purging all references to the agenda from corporate websites. However, even though the off-fitting letters are being removed, the agenda they represent is still in effect almost everywhere. A new Bloomberg study revealed that the two-thirds of the nearly 300 global money managers surveyed will stop using the ESG acronym when interacting with clients, but will continue using the metrics behind closed doors. People don't want to talk about ESG as much as of the news flow from the U.S., said Alex Billy, a senior portfolio manager at Atlantic Global Investors in London. Well, from an investment perspective, and what we do internally has never been more important. Yeah, so they're going to continue doing this. And we need to expose them what they are actually calling it here. So we are winning the cultural war ever so slightly. I'm going to show you this one video here, and then I'll bow out. Just kind of show you that Target CEO Brian Cornell blames negative guest reaction.
Crossing the tape, Courtney Reagan is here with the numbers. Court.
Yeah, Melissa, so let's get through this. There's a lot here. Target's second quarter earnings coming in at $1.80 per share. That's 41 cents above consensus. But the profit was not driven by sales. Revenue at $24.77 billion, below $25.16 billion estimated. Also slashing full-year earnings guidance. This even after this quarter's huge beat. So it's now expecting between $7 and $8. That's down from $7.75 to $8.75. It's also bringing down its sales expectations to mid-single-digit declines rather than low single-digit decline to low single-digit increase. Target's comparable sales down 5.4%. That is well below estimates for a 3.7% drop, also the first decrease since 2016. The retailer says discretionary categories again weak, while food, beverage, essentials, beauty, those frequency categories, those were stronger. Digital sales down 10.5%. That's the third straight quarter of declines and the worst performance since Target has been giving this number. Inventory fell 17%, and lower markdowns did help to lift gross margins. Operating margins also better than expected, but at 4.8%, that's about half of the level where it was 2 years ago at 9.8%. On a call with media, Target CEO Brian Cornell pointed to macro pressures, including inflation, for tempering sales, but also, quote, negative guest reaction to our Pride collection. He also continued to say negative reaction to our Pride assortment and added, after adjusting mid-quarter to address safety concerns, the business recovered steadily in July. I asked Cornell to clarify that the response by some consumers to the Pride merchandise was material enough that it impacted sales, but then after Target removed some of the merchandise or moved it in some stores, the trends changed. He said, quote, you describe it very accurately. We only took actions in the month of June. We wanted to make sure we're focused on the safety of our teams and the safety of our guests. Once we took those actions and addressed the situation, we certainly saw things normalize. Now, the last time Target's comp sales were negative, as I mentioned, was 6 years ago, and that does correspond to the 4 quarters that followed the retailer's stance allowing guests to use whatever bathroom they choose for their gender identity. Though Target did say at the time that any lost sales from those boycotts weren't material enough to report. This time, though, they're calling it out, just not quantifying it. It's just, again, seemingly caught in the middle of these culture wars in a way that did seem to impact sales.
So yes, as you can see here, the CEO's crying that guests are not liking. Well, maybe don't just try to push your Pride stuff into people's faces constantly, and don't try to advertise to children, because that's exactly what you're doing. The video is on here on my YouTube channel, me going into the Target specifically and, kind of showing everything that's going on in there. I went to my local Target, and they're doing that same exact stuff. So, I don't know about you, but it seems to be pretty bad in this case, and you're getting right for what you deserve. Nobody wants you going after children. Nobody wants this Pride stuff pushed in their face. It's disgusting. You're also promoting satanic shit, just like Fox News is. So, again, I don't know what to really say. You guys are terrible, and you get what you deserve. Alright, guys, that's it for the video. Like, try to share. As always, take care.